everybody. Welcome back to a special edition of a one-on-one session of Girl Dad Girls. I am that QT Danny B, and as always, we have the Zexion.
Hello.
Sadly, Bree is not well, so we have a get well soon Bree signed out here. But Zex and I were just chatting about something that I think a lot of people are will probably struggle with. If you are, if you have any self-doubt, this episode might be for you because I've been struggling with this a lot lately, and I wanted to get Zex's opinion on it, and so we decided to record this for all of you. So just to give you kind of a backstory of, I have been here in New York for almost 9 months now. New York City. I'm in Brooklyn, New York, and I've started noticing recently that like a lot of people that I've met, a lot of these cis women that I've met are very starved for a single guy who's nice. And I keep thinking in the back of my head, I was like, I was a guy who's nice. And the hard part, I think, for me has been the fact that like I was a nice person, and I mean, I've tried to be a nice person. People may have altering opinions on that, but I started to realize like there's not a lot of people here who want to date a trans girl because it's very hard, especially a trans girl with this voice. But I've started to kind of realize it's like I have had this like doubt about myself. Like, am I doing this? Is it better to be happy with myself and hate my life versus hating my life, versus liking my life, which I did, but hating myself? But Zex, I feel like you have like thoughts on this, and like I really wanted to get your opinion on like why it's better to be alone and be happy with the person you're alone with than be surrounded by people who tell you you're great, but also like on the inside being like, I hate this person.
I mean, I made that decision, right, 4 years ago to break up with, I was monogamous at the time. I had what I thought to be the love of my life, who I knew full well she did not care for women, right? The entire time I was cross-dressing, and it slowly transformed to the fact that I needed therapy. And then the therapist was like, oh my God, yeah, you need, like, it was within 2 months. It was like, holy shit, this is bad. Like, depression. Terrible. She, like, my ex did not want to see any pictures of me, was afraid that I would look cuter or hotter than her. Just was not attracted to, was attracted to me, but not how I looked when I was feminine, right?
Oh, so she knew you were cross-dressing?
Oh, the entire time. Oh, yeah. She just, I had to go to the restroom, or she had to not be here, or she actually went to Hofstra University. She got her PhD. She's super smart. We're actually best friends now, so no one demonize her in the comments and stuff. What I've noticed is it's different dating someone versus being their friend, right? I can't change who you're sexually attracted to, but you can still be supportive of them. That's an important distinction, right? You can still be supportive of who they are. And if you go, hey, you should be with me, you should not do this, that's being very narcissistic and very selfish. To tell someone else to be something for you is ridiculous. Not to call anybody out in particular, but there's a certain person who I have blocked on Instagram years ago, who, when I first came out, and I don't think she remembers saying this, but this is why I blocked her, and she's probably wondering why I blocked her, is she has since transitioned. And she goes, Zex, did you transition to be with me? Okay, no. Like, holy shit. The audacity to think I would transition to be with you because you're straight is insane. Just how narcissistic and self-centered can you be to make that statement? That you suggest that someone would transition their entire life, all this shit, to be with you.
Well,
holy shit.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the things that I think a lot of people don't really realize is that we don't do this
For others.
because
Or
of somebody else. We don't like it. Like I've had this post recently on Instagram of like, I didn't do this to win at sports. Yeah, like sometimes I go and play sports and they let me be a girl on the team,
then I have a
but I
question.
didn't do this to win at sports. I didn't do this like that's so
Then I have a question for you.
insane.
If you would not transition for someone else, why are you thinking about detransitioning for someone else?
I think for me, it's the fact that like just the sheer loneliness of this, and people out there who are I imagine there's probably people out there who
If you can't be
think
yourself,
that
though, are you truly going to be happy? Though is the question. Would you truly
oh,
like? Because somebody doesn't love all of you, right? At that point, you literally would detransition to be with somebody, and it's not all of you. So they love an idea of you or a part of you that is not all of you. From
but
full personal experience, it wears you down. It kills you on the inside. It
I
fucking
think
kills you.
well, but I mean the hard part is on the other side is how hard we try to be with like or like
Oh, fuck that. I don't give a shit. And that took years to get that. I don't give a shit what anybody says. I know who I am. You think one person who goes, oh, he, him, to me is gonna fuck. Listen, I'm sorry. Did you know me better? I knew myself for 32 years of my life. Holy fuck. Welcome, therapist. Oh my God, let me pay you. Thank you.
well,
No.
but I mean, I think the hard part is dealing, especially being in this city, in a city where I don't have any friends, and like I think for me, it's the fact that like before I cultivated a personality that was very much like catered towards making people or like getting people to like me. Like my personality right now, for those who are watching, if this is your first time watching, go back and watch a couple episodes. I act in a certain way that I try to be as accommodating and as friendly to everybody that I can be. And this personality is very much catered towards being it's very much catered towards being a personality that very masculine like guy personality of like
I get paid by the hate shares.
Say what?
I said I get paid by the hate shares. Hate me harder. See, look, I have a degree kink, so as long as they hate me and they're shitting on me, oh my God, harder, daddy. Like I don't. Fuck off.
Well,
sorry,
I think
I love you too, random citizen. Like it's one of those things where I'm like I do like I'm so appreciative of the supporters, right? But you have to slowly realize who gets a say in your head and your heart, and who really matters for what they say about you, right? You have to discern those two things as to weight. Of course it does. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, if I gave you $84,000 and someone on the street stole $10 from you, is that going to ruin your whole entire day to where you just forget about the other $83,990? No, so why are you letting one person ruin your entire day for 5 seconds of the time? Like it depends on how much do you want to give that person in your mental and emotional well-being. How much do you want to give a person who hasn't, like, you have no investment in potentially, or doesn't need to?
I mean, and the one thing I will rebuttal with is like it does like for people like me who grew up in a small town.
Same.
Like individual like relationships. I put a lot into individual relationships, and so
I was described as an introvert when I was growing up. Me, I was an introvert growing up. Is how my entire family, all my friends would describe me. Me, an introvert. When you can't be yourself and you don't have an outlet, you aren't yourself and you're miserable. Even it's like, yeah, those connections. And I did. I faked every fucking bit of who I was. And I was fucking miserable. It sucked. It sucked in a small town.
Well, yeah, no, I entirely agree. Like,
now those boys are in my DMs, by the way. Now they're in my DMs.
Yeah, I think so one of the things I wanted to do is because I know that there are people out there who are they will have this self-doubt. They'll start to realize it's like for me, I'm old, and I have big shoulders. I got called scary the other day.
Mommy.
At
They
a
said a weird
lesbian
way
bar.
to pronounce Dommy Mommy, but go off. Yeah, for them. Yeah, sure.
No, I know, but all these there's this litany of things that come out where it's like you feel like I was doing okay before, and everything like I wasn't doing badly before,
Oh, yeah, same.
and and so when I have these like these bouts with like self deprecation, and like you start to realize like it does
My roommate's making
it,
coffee.
it does it when you start to realize that like I wish I could go back to where it was, because there's so many times where I'm like, I would love to live this life with this confidence that I've imbibed now, but also be part like a normal part. Like I'd love to walk down the street right now and not have people look at me like I'm this like Amazonian like
Isn't that just
She-Hulk.
wishing you were cis?
It is. I mean, that is essentially what it is, and like I think a lot of people they do this because they want to like themselves. Like that's what I did.
Hmm?
But you have to realize it's like you'll never be cis. You will like as much as you want to be, you'll always have some tinge of who you were, like as your personality. Like I developed a large personality that was based around like being David, and so David comes out every now and then, like when I'm frustrated, when I'm when I'm excited, if I've been drinking, David always comes out, and you start to realize like you can't.
Is that not part of the transitional process to who you are? Why they call it transitioning to Dan?
You mean like
is that not part of the process?
You mean like getting rid of that personality?
I don't identify with who I was. Like, especially if you look at my old photos, I keep them up there for a reason. And you've done it before too, where it's just like, holy shit, look at this. Like, it's crazy. It's wild to look at some of those past photos and be like, that's not you. Like, I've seen your photos. I'm like, that's not you. Like, holy shit. If I saw your old photos of you on the street, like if you were on the street, the old photos of you, which is weird, I would not fucking recognize you or be like, oh, it's Dani. No, fuck no. Hell no. There's no shot. There's no shot. No one would do that for me as well. And that's part of the process over time. Like, it depends.
I think it's just sort of like it's a longing for.
You learn from history, though. You do.
I think there's gonna be a lot of like for me right now. I'm in this mode of like it's the grass is always green on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, I changed one letter in my name, right? Why? Because I'm still me. That's why I did that. Just I'm presenting as all of me. So that past, of course, I recognize it. Here I am, right? I changed one letter and changed my middle name. That's the big part, but whatever. But I changed my one letter. So my dead name is still my real name. Holy shit, if you think about it. Because I recognize I am me. I'm finally presenting as all of me. All of me. And it's weird. Where I'm like, I could be myself for the rest of my life. I don't anticipate myself ever getting married, for example. But why is it, and I think it's heteronormativity, that we're taught that we have to be completed or happy via someone else. That we have to have that. And I have a girlfriend, love her to death. Shout out to you, love you, Allison. Love her to death. But she has a partner of 11 years, and she's getting married this year. I'm so fucking happy, right? Polyamory. Polyamory's fucking awesome. You should try it sometime. It's fucking great, right? And it's like, and I support the hell out of them. And I love Des, but not romantically. And Des is her partner. And so it's just like of 11 years. That's huge, right? But if all of a sudden Shai and I broke up, it's one of those things where of course I hurt. But do I need that to be myself? And I don't think would I change myself to change my dating pool? Nah,
I,
I don't think it's worth it.
I guess my feeling is coming at this from somebody who's been single for 7 months now. Like I
That
haven't
is
even.
not long. Holy shit. I waited till I was 18 to lose my virginity. I didn't date a single person until I was 18. I dated 4 people from 18 to 29, and now my body count's over 200. I don't know. Nah. I was single for years after at least 2 years once I was transitioning and stuff. I was like, you gotta be patient, girl. You got to be patient.
Well,
don't force
I know,
it.
but I mean, I guess my thing is everybody's story is a little bit different, and the reason I wanted to do this episode was like for people who they look at us online and they see us and our personalities and
Adorable.
like yeah, and the fact that like everybody I never want to discount somebody's feelings because I don't feel the same way, and so I know that like yeah, like there are times where it's like it like being lonely. There was a time recently where I went 3 weeks without seeing somebody that I knew because New York's huge and like I didn't like
Rachel can tell you I was depressed for 3 months and I didn't see a single person in those 3 months.
And it feels bad, right?
Oh, of course, especially being how extroverted that I am, right? It kills you. I had 3 partners at one time, and I have a journal, and I was like, shit, I probably shouldn't. I'll say it. I put how lonely I was with 3 partners. Having a partner does not necessarily get rid of your loneliness. Having another person in your life does not necessarily mean you aren't lonely, especially if you can't be yourself. Or if you are being hurt by those partners in certain ways. Just because you have someone in your life doesn't mean that they are with you in your life. It doesn't mean they understand you entirely. I had 3 partners at one point, and I have the journal. I could share the entries and the thoughts. And thankfully, I'm on antidepressants. And the thoughts that came along with those, with 3 partners. Another person is not going to fix or the loneliness that you might have necessarily. You might think it is, but it not always.
That's actually a really good point. It's like how we kind of like expect another person, like, oh, if I had this one thing in my life,
it's the completion that you have been taught since the heteronormativity as a child and the monogamous, where you need to find your person, your soulmate, right? Oh my God, all the princesses and princes of the world, you have to find them. They're out there. And the billions upon billions of people, and your chances of doing that are slim, right? But you hope, right? We always hold on to that idea of hope. And when it's ripped from you, you start just going, where's it at? And then when you get a little taste, you can't help but hope again and find it. And you're like, oh, let me cringe at it. It's almost like an addiction. It's like a gambling addiction where you're like, you just have to have it.
Well, and that's kind of like I guess where like I went with like being a cis guy. Being a cis guy, I was able to kind of like very freely. Oh, kitty cat! Oh, everybody, this is Zex's kitty cat. This is what's this cat's name?
This is Ray. This is my little angel Fluff. She's adorable. She's the best. He loves eating plastic, and I don't know why. Ray.
Hey, who doesn't?
What are you doing, Miss Meow?
Oh,
what are you doing,
guest appearance.
She's a big old floof too. I mean, my hands are not small by any means, but it's like, I mean, look at this. She is a big old kitty. She's part Maine Coon, so I'm like, all right, she's a big old little cat.
But yeah, I think the thing was like I was so good when I was back when I was a guy, is I was so good at like just jumping from relationship to relationship. Like I think when I was a guy, the longest I ever went with being like single without like at least like 1 or 2 like even sexual partners was maybe like a couple weeks. Where I was just sort of like it's kind of like just playing the field. Versus now, it's like, but we
so
still
you
like
can't. Oh, this is interesting. I've had some therapists. Talk to a therapist about that. Um, there are certain things where I did the same. For a while when I was first finally going out as a trans woman, presenting as myself, of course, bouncing around, right, person to person. It leaves you feeling hollow. I will say that is eventually it just drains on you where you don't know why people, or they might want you but not to get to know you. You have to be careful of that. Again, for filling their own personal wants and desires and needs of loneliness. And you might just feel, and they might just keep you on a hook. And it doesn't feel good. Or they don't care, or they only hit you up when they need you, right? And not want to see you, or they want something from you, and not just to see you for the sake of seeing you. You have to be very careful sometimes, because like right now, it's one of those things where a lot of people are like, "Oh, sex, you get all these messages, all these things, and all these matches," and it's true, right? Like I created a Grindr account yesterday, and I have 500 views and over hundreds of messages, right? That's great. It's awesome, right? Most of them are just highs, dick pics, and people wanting to what? Fuck me. They don't care. They want an experience. They want something new. They don't care to get to know me. They didn't read my profile. They don't give two fucks, right? You have to sit through the tsunami of sausage to find somebody who actually gives a shit, and that's hard. That takes time. And if you rush into that because you're looking for validation of self, you won't find that love. A lot of trans women I've noticed have found that issue where they figure it out themselves, right? And they are like, hey, I want love. Like, I figure out myself. I love myself. I want someone else to love me too. And who I am. And a lot of them have run into very bad situations where you end up getting very hurt, physically, emotionally, manipulated, abused, taken advantage of, because you're like, but they love me. They're here, right? They're in my life. It doesn't mean it's a good thing. And again, it doesn't take away that loneliness sometimes, especially if they are also very insecure, or if they are still need to work on themselves. You gotta be careful. I can't stress that enough. Coming from someone who also made that mistake early on, or has had individuals confess love to me after 2 to 3 meetups, and you're like, I know what you want, and I'm not that person. Like I can't give you that attention. I can't give you what you crave. I can't do that. And to expect that of someone else is a lot to put on them. It just is.
Yeah.
Some people are like, oh, I want to find my everyone, my everything, and they want to share all that, right? Strictly monogamous individuals sometimes. I mean, I'm not, but I used to be, right? It's a lot when they put all of their emotional and sexual all and stresses and everything. They put everything on the other person because there's this idea that you shouldn't go to anybody else, that your spouse should be there for you, and that's it sometimes. Like there's some people like where it's like, oh, you can't talk to the other gender, you can't talk to the other sex, you can't talk to the other, like who you could potentially be, and it's very toxic in that dynamic sometimes. And that means they're not confident in what? Their own relationship, in their security, that they think they might cheat. If you're thinking your partner's going to cheat, why are you with them? And it's those kind of things where you're like, those are the cracks before things break. And the tighter you make that grip, it's like sand, more that slips out. Like, it's just, and it's going to end up breaking, or you're going to break somebody. The tighter you put a grip on them, eventually they're going to break. And it's like, it's difficult. There's no easy solution to this, right? You want something to be quick, and it's going to take time, but you're like, hey, I took 30 plus years or 40 or whatever it is to find myself and figure myself out. That's enough time, right? I did my time in Azkaban. Like, it's like, what the fuck? And it's just, it's not going to happen. Until you can learn to be happy by yourself, it's going to be very difficult. Because I've noticed that's something that people have done for me. They're like, hey, you are the moment, is what I've been described as. And it's because it took forever. Fucking took forever. To just be like, if people are around me, awesome. If people are not around me, why is that necessarily a bad thing? Why, I'll find them eventually. I'll find my people.
What does that mean to be happy with yourself?
right? Like, make your own happiness. I want a band that says "Make your own happiness."
Yeah, but so for you, what is it like? Because honestly, like I love I love the personality that I built. I built a personality before I started transitioning that I liked a whole bunch,
Yeah,
and then I fixed the things I didn't like by becoming me.
yeah.
And like I think I'm like not to toot my own horn, but I think I'm very smart. I think I'm very motivated. I think I'm very funny. Now I think I'm okay looking. um, but like so I'm very comfortable with me.
Good.
But
Doesn't
it
necessarily translate to happy, right?
but yeah, but like what's I guess what's the difference between being satisfied with yourself and being happy with yourself? Is there a difference?
Content. There's a content versus happy, right? You can be content in where you are in life. That's where I kind of was before. Like, I was content, right? There was no issues. Fuck, I had all the privileges of a cis white male. Holy fuck, and I gave that shit up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
When you weigh that shit, you're like, holy shit, why would anybody give
Because
that
you wanted to
fucking
win at
shit up?
sports, right?
To have a heart.
That's what. Yeah, I did it so I could win at soccer, so I could win a $50 gift card at soccer.
Goddamn right. That's why I did it. That's why I did it. So I could fuck men, of course. Yeah, of course. Because this is part of the reason why I like being myself. You're like, what makes you happy, right? That right there, poison ivy. A smile, a laugh, something where it can take your mind off just the overwhelming abundance of misery in the world, right? It's all pervasive all around us. We're spout that shit on the news, anything that sticks in our brains, right? You can have 100 positive experiences, and you can have 100 people say you're gorgeous and that you're pretty, and there's one comment in your section that goes, "You're an ugly fuck." And what sticks out to you? The negative. Right? Fucking sucks.
I mean, you're right. No.
Fucking sucks. And you're just like, "Hey, asshole." And you're like, but wait a second. And you gotta check yourself on that. You gotta work yourself on that. And
then you dig through their profile and you find all their insecurities and you say, "Hey, by the way,"
you do the deep dive on. You're like, "Hey, profiling, no bitches, no maidenless little fucking ass. Like, sit the fuck down." Like, you're just like, "Oh my god!" But then you're like, "Oh wait, why am I spending all this time instead of just deleting the comment, blocking, and moving on?" Like, of course you can give that time. It's kind of like those people who hate trans people. Like, holy shit, this is your whole identity. When they go, "Don't make it your whole identity," your whole thing is to go into comment sections and talk shit about us. Holy fuck. Yeah. Damn, dude, like, I wonder what you do on your dating profiles as a hobby. Like, you're just like, "Yeah, so I shit on trans women. I'm pretty proud of it. I do that, just before I go to bed each night." Like, damn.
I do have a. I commented on a friend's post, and this older lady came on and like started. She was like, "That's BS, right? She's not happy." No, she put he's not happy.
Oh, of course.
And about the kids. And so what I did is by the way, people out there, if you're trolling us, make your profile private, because if I dig through and I find out everybody, like I find out first off that you're a grandmother and what your granddaughter's username is, you better goddamn guarantee I'm gonna tag her in all the posts that talk about you. And I'm gonna and also, if you're a grandma and you talk about your granddaughter's boyfriend as sexy, maybe you should rethink your decisions, because and maybe don't post that on Instagram, because some people have Instagram and know what that's like. So if you're gonna put that on you're gonna go through your Jitterbug, whoever installed Instagram on your goddamn Jitterbug. Maybe don't troll people if you're gonna be that easily accessible. So so anyways, that whatever that lady's name was, the grandma that told me I should go back, and she goes, "You're creepy, go smoke some more dope." And I was just like, "Cool, grandma."
Wait, that's actually a dope suggestion. Got it. But I was like, "Let's go, grandma, you fucking lady titty." I get it.
I told her, I was like, "Grandma, you should be happy that I'm not in your family, because I would first off take away your jitterbug, and second off, whatever home I put your dementia riddled ass in would be very, very. I'd make sure they did not have free Wi-Fi." Um, and so, first off, if you're going to come on, you're going to criticize us trans people online. Make sure you do it from the privacy of a protected private account. You little cave troll.
Listen, it's okay.
But yeah, she did not have her profile was not private, and
It
she
took a while, but I think at this point they just report me and don't comment, which is really funny to me. They're like, "Ha, we got you shadow banned." I'm like, "All right, cool." So, but going all the way back because ADHD brain goes blur for both of us. Why do I do the things I do, right? For happiness, and I guess I'll use an example. It's probably the best because I like inspiring others to be themselves. I post the good and the bad. If you go through my profile, you will find bad, right? I don't hide that shit. There are those days where it's bad. Hell, last year, all of last year was bad, especially with the job situation, finances. Had stuff beforehand where it's just like, encounters and things too. And it sucks. It sucks. But what I do for what I do, it's just like that poem that I read on here, right? Is if there's one person, I don't care. It could be 5 or 500,000 followers. I don't give a shit. If there's one person whose life is inspired and changed for the better, what they deem to be better, hopefully, and happier for themselves, and they see someone else being themselves and that inspires them to do so, then it's worth it, right? I will happily be the martyr to take those hits, to take the brunt of things, to whatever, or if the people have questions or whatever they have, that way they can, like trans or cis, they can ask me those questions, assuming they come from a good place, not icky, of understanding, of love, of transformation, right? To be better, to learn better, to do better. Then it's good, right? They can ask me those questions. That way they don't accidentally offend or hurt someone else out there.
yeah.
I've done that for the last 4 years here in Louisville. Hell, I did it at Louisville Metro. I used to work for the government, and it was just like, yeah. At one point, I almost was teaching classes on the thing that so many conservatives hate: diversity, equity, and inclusion. DNA. It's just making people be respected when they're like, "Oh, respect, bitch. That's what we want too. Just respect us." They're like, "I can't put an S in front of HE. How dare you try to change this? I don't use pronouns." When did you start referring to yourself in the third person? "My name's Sean. Sean do big things. Sean do this." Yeah, Sean. Go, Sean. And it's just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, if you don't use, pronouns are I, me, you. Welcome to English of the 6th grade variety, for fuck's sake. Listen, if you can count further in your education past the amount of teeth that are in your mouth right now, awesome. Kudos to you. For those people who can't use pronouns, for fuck's sake, come on now. Please. And they go, "Oh, it's so hard." It's like, it's really not, because, someone changes their last name, they get married, you do it. A nickname for somebody will go down for years and years and years. They do something stupid, and you're like, "Oh, or this person can drink a bunch of Blue Moon," so you call them Blue Moon all the time. Damn, is that their name? Holy fuck, that's what you call them, don't you? And they like it. Why don't you just do that and respect people?
There was also that I think you may have brought it up. It was the comment of when you see somebody's dog on the street.
Yeah, like my cat right here, right? You were like, "Oh, what's his?" Right? And I immediately was just like, "Oh, it's Ray." And she, "How the fuck did you know?" You didn't know, right? But I don't have to make a big deal out of it. I don't what?
Yeah.
Did you check her fucking I zoom in on her genitals so you could tell it was a girl cat? No. But if someone tells you who the fuck they are, believe them.
Hang on, you have a trans cat?
Christ, just fucking believe them. If I tell you who I am and you're like, "No, the fuck you're not." Holy shit, I'm so happy you knew me. Let me shake your hand, sir. Thank you.
And that kind of goes back to the whole the initial point that I've made, that I wanted to make, is I know for me, a lot of my dysphoria has come from my voice, and like being out there and like and
I don't like mine
like,
either. Yeah.
Because people are like they hear my voice and they immediately it's like, oh,
It gives me
that's
away in public too, so don't worry.
and, well, but I think that and like and eventually like I've gotten to the point where it's like it would be easier to go back to just like dressing and looking like a guy because it's just easier to talk to humans when I look the way I sound. I think the thing is and really what like this episode is mostly just about I wanted to let people know that like if you have these kind of doubts, you're not alone. Like you and you're not wrong for thinking it.
And no matter how masculine or feminine you are, that does not affect your gender identity, I will say.
100%.
Yeah, but I know like, people interpret it that way, but I was like, it doesn't.
Yeah, I think I know for me, like, but like it wasn't until I started like deeply thinking about, like that, you know,
the volume of your hair, girl, is insane. Sorry.
So what?
Volume. Oh. I'm like, holy shit. All right, sorry, cool.
I grew up myself. But the thing I wanted to stress is that like if you're struggling with these notions of like I wish I could undo this and go back because it was easier before. It's like yes, it was easier before, and yeah, it sucks right now, but it will get better, and just keep on with the. I mean, for me right now, there's not really a good way to go back. If I were to dress like a guy, I just look like a lesbian wearing like her like oddly ironic boyfriend's clothes.
Cool. Go get you some femmes. Go get you some lipstick femmes. Do it.
But like, I mean, I think the thing is like, I struggle with doubt even right now. Even like I know a lot of people will say like, oh, Dani, like you look blah 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 blah.
Listen, if I'm underneath somebody or behind them and I go, yo, yeah, you like that? I'm still a fucking girl. I don't give a shit. You change the pronouns, you changing your clothes, and you getting the fuck out of my place. I don't give a fuck. So actually, so many men are actually into that shit on TikTok too, which is really funny.
No,
I love how you were like doing something right as I did that voice change. You were like, "Oh fuck."
Oh no, I know a guy. There's this guy Ken who hates it that I do these things. So but he is constantly in my DMs being like, "Don't do that anymore." I'm like, "I'm sorry."
Holy shit! I didn't know. I live my life according to what you tell me. Men tell me harder.
But really, what I want, like, I'd like people who are watching this, especially if you're struggling with self doubt. No, you're not alone, and you're definitely not alone. Like we, you know, even as people with a platform that we have, with this Girl That Girls thing. Damn. When you let your hair down. Ooh. But yeah, we are constantly struggling with self-doubt, and it's one of those things of like I wanted to use this episode to tell people like it's okay to doubt. Lord, it's actually good.
Listen, I can do this, and then just really drive it home. Just tuck this on my ear and just be like this.
I'm gonna look this way. But yeah, if you're struggling with self-doubt, don't feel like you're alone. But also don't feel like you can't reach out to your friends. And you know, like honestly, like I will always we will always put at the end of this episode, we'll put a link, an email address. You can email info@girl.girls. If you have feelings on this stuff, you can email us and one of us will get back to you. We try to answer all the emails that are genuinely like inquisitive, because you know, who are we to say what we like, that we know what we're doing. But I just like
I drink and worry. I know things.
Well, I think my thing is I've in talking to people, I've realized like there's a lot of people who have doubt about. I think everybody has doubt about themselves. But I think a lot of people like assume they're the only ones thinking it, and
which is really funny.
Sorry. Well, yeah, and like, but I wanted to do this episode to basically be like, you're not alone. And it will get better, even though you may not believe it now.
The whole point is you're not alone, but they're feeling lonely. Sorry, that is the most ironic shit I've ever. It's so great. It's so good. I love it.
And well, yeah, like I think for me right now, it's the fact that I like as of this taping, as of September 5th, which is when we're taping this. Hey, everybody.
Yes, I am.
Sorry, the people are gonna probably watch this in December is when they'll probably see it. But September 5th, 2024, I am in Brooklyn, New York, and I am alone, and I feel lonely. And as much as I can masquerade through Instagram like I'm this like happy-go-lucky person, sometimes I'm not, and a lot of the time I'm not. And I want everybody who's out there who's listening to this to know that like no matter what we post on Instagram and how happy we seem like we are, sometimes it's Instagram and social media will make you think that everybody out there is happy and that you're the only one who's sad, but you're not. And they're not, and we're not. And it's okay to be upset. It's okay to be sad. It's I think the best thing that I like, what I would recommend to everybody is to talk to somebody. I mean, find somebody find your Zex and talk to that person and yeah,
potatoes,
and just be happy the fact that you're working towards being a better you. Mm-hmm. And I know that's really like shallow solace to take to say, okay, I'm like everybody hates me, but that's because there's something wrong with them. But sometimes I guess that's the best we can do, right?
Listen, results may vary.
Yeah, your mileage may vary. Zex, so I realized we're coming up on 45 minutes of doing this. It's awesome.
Good.
Do you have? So I've changed my I have a summer theme song. Do you have a theme? Like, do you have a song that you listen to that kind of like or like a song or songs that really kind of like imbibe how you're feeling now?
Like at this moment, or like in general,
or just like a song what's the first, like when you put on your headphones or something, and you want to go like just kind of like go for a walk. Is there a song that you put on that you're just like, okay, this is my like getting started, like that first step song?
My face is like going red. I'm like, all right, listen. I listen to Russ. There's a song called "That's My Girl." Have fun with that one. Listen, I can be his girl.
My go-to song, my first step when I'm leaving the house song right now is and it gets me just kind of like going, but it also has like some like kind of lyrics that kind of like speak to me. But it's a song called Braden Bayless. It's called Chronically Cautious by Braden Bales. But there's one line that he goes, lately I've been questioning whether or not how much I want this. And I'm like, yeah, like especially lately, like I think that's kind of like sort of the epitome of my like thought process now is like I'm questioning how much I want this. And so I think that's kind of like the onus of like this sort of this episode is I want to mention that like, yeah, for me, I've been questioning lately, and I want people to know that like it's cool to question, and just know that if you made it this far, oh, another one of those little nail files. If you made it this far, you're probably doing everything in the right direction, and yeah, like just know that you're loved, you are beautiful, you are wanted. Um, yeah, I think that's kind of like what I really wanted to get through this is if you're having doubts, you're not alone, and so just what you should do is just DM Zex right now. as you're listening to this,
you want to
just
kick in the
slide
ass?
your
I got
DM.
you. You want to go 9-9?
But yeah, no. I also want to just to reiterate that if you have thoughts or you have feelings, feel free to email us. Check out the email at the end of this episode, and we will respond to if it's an honest email. We will read it and respond to it. If it's a troll email, then we will first off find your IP address and hack you.
Then we will force you to live under a bridge.
Yeah, and we will find out where your parents live, and
I will fuck him and give him a fucking kid he deserves to love. Sorry.
Zex, do you have anything coming up that you're excited about for the next couple of months?
Birthday next month. It's sometime. Listen, I'm old. Nothing else. I got a couple of photo shoots. That'd be kind of fun. New Duskmore in NTG. Let's go, Magic the Gathering.
Neat, nerd.
I made the cutest little kitty deck ever. Okay, I made a cute kitty deck made out of this little guy. Okay? He's a cute little kitty, and he kicks ass.
I work with such nerds. What I wanted to say is I have I'm working on right now. I'm working on getting my brother to be able to come on as a sibling of a trans person, and so hopefully
I can message my sister too. Same episode.
We're hoping to do a sibling episode, and so everybody stay tuned for that, because if I can get my little brother to come on, then that'd be awesome. He is adorable, and he's the sweetest. He's the first person that he's been the most affirmation-y positive person that's in my family, and so we're working on getting that going. So everybody stay tuned for that. We also are going to hopefully go down to this is just as a scheduling. We're going to hopefully go down to more of a regular cadence of this stuff, getting out of our summer slump, and hopefully everybody will be able to release it more often, because this thing says every new episode every Thursday, and that is not what we've been doing. But we're going to work on that. And yeah, if you have any, if anybody has any subjects that you want covered that you think are very pertinent to you, please email us about them, and we will do our best to cover every subject that's pertinent. But yeah, Zex, do you have any closing thoughts for this actually pretty decent episode?
I do have a poem, right? That really does pertain to everything that you kind of said today and touched on. I probably do. I have a book that is my poetry that I write down. If people care to, of course, listen. And I think I wrote this one down. Go ahead and open this up, because I think it's going to really apply for how you feel right now, right? It's something that you're tired of hearing. It's something that it's going to apply to many of those people for, the major theme of the episode. And it's called One Day. Okay? One day, I'll believe I'll love myself. One day, I'll believe that things will get better. One day, I'll believe the words others say. One day I'll stop beating myself up. One day I'll stop hating what I see in the mirror. One day I'll stop caring what I look like. And one day I'll think I'm pretty. One day I'll think I'm successful. One day I'll think more positively. But one day I'll get sick of all the waiting. One day I'll get tired of hearing one day. One day I'll get in bed to never wake up again. And one day I'll have no more days to give. Right? You're tired of hearing it. You want it to happen now and it won't. Right? You're just like, this is this impossible goal. It's impossible dream. It's not going to happen is what you're just going to keep thinking. But you can't let that potential, right, no matter how daunting it may seem, prevent you from acting now on today, right? You can't be doing that. You can't let that happen. The promise of one day, right? You can't let that hold you back. And you can't let others, this entire time, you like see all these people that you look up to. You see, and that's the advice they give you. And you just get sick of hearing it, right?
Yeah.
It just exhausts you. Hell, I was there, right? That's why I wrote that poem. It's because I got so tired of hearing it. But you can't. And I realized it took me years to get to that point where I don't believe that poem anymore, right? Or I did, of course. Of course I did at one point in time. I wrote it, right? You'll get through it. Again, one day. And it sucks. Because it's one of those things where are you going to let the potential be a inevitability? You can't let a potential no become an inevitable no, right? Just because you didn't give it a chance, just because of the odds sometimes, right? To be yourself, to be happy. Sometimes you just have to take that chance and give it that time. And if you don't make it in time, well, at least you tried, right? And 100% that you were unhappy before. So even a 1% chance at being happy, is that better? Maybe. Yeah. That's up to you to decide. I can't make that choice. But that's kind of my final words on today's episode, where that's gonna do it. Where for Girl Dad Girls today.
What a great way to end the episode. God. No, I mean that just speaks to my heart like crazy. So I love it. And anyways, yeah. So, well, I'm gonna go ahead and let that be the final word because fuck, I can't even top that. But anyways, I want everybody to know that like if this episode has spoken to you, like feel free to reach out to us and let us know like how we can I guess cover stuff better in the future. And like if you have doubt, you're not alone. So anyways, for Girl Dad Girls, I am that QT Danny B. We have the beautiful Zexion 1337. Follow her on Instagram and also on OnlyFans. Although actually, for tax reasons,
I know.
But we'll cover that in a different episode. We will be covering the adult film industry soon, so stay tuned for that episode. And if you want more of Zex's poetry, feel free to reach out to her or us, and we'll hear more of these beautiful words. But for Girl Dad Girls, I'm Danny B, Zex, and hopefully Bree St. Marie. Hopefully we feel better, and we'll see everybody next time. So anyway, bye everybody. Thank you so much.
Bye, Taters.
This has been a production of Girl Dad Girls Podcast. Check out new episodes every Thursday. If you are interested in knowing more, please email info@girldadgirls.com or find us on Instagram @girldadgirls. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.